Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to some more Ultimate General American Revolution. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about what is next for the game. So if you don't know, this game has just recently released, I think 3 weeks ago from when this video will be going live. And basically it is a grand strategy game allowing you to play real-time battles on a real-time campaign map. Alongside that, it has land and naval engagements, tons of campaign features, which is just really cool. And it's just honestly a great addition to this genre of games. Previously, we only really have Total War, and we know that they're having a pretty hard time producing a good game at the moment. So it's great to see competition coming. And if this game does well, hopefully it can just be a new staple in this genre. Imagine a Napoleonic game in this era. It'd just be the absolute dream. So I thought today would be a great opportunity to basically talk about their roadmap, some of the planned features they've talked about over on their Discord, and when this game is actually going to come to Steam, because I know a lot of people have been asking me. So right now, you can only buy it over on their website. I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. You can either get the base edition for $50 or the general edition for $80. Really, the general edition is basically just so you can get an officer in the game. It's really there just to go ahead and support the developers a little bit more. I recommend if you're planning on getting the game, just go ahead and grab the $50 version at the moment. But I will mention the game is still very much lacking content. There is only 1 year of the war currently in the game, and you can only play as the Americans. So as of right now, I honestly don't think it's worth the $50. However, I think it definitely will be, probably by the time it goes ahead and hits Steam. And that is planned to be early next year, early next summer is what they say. So again, probably think, somewhere around about June-ish time, that's probably when the game is going to be hitting Steam in early access. Some people might also be asking as well, why isn't the game on Steam? Now, there were some real big issues with the keys and how early access works on Steam. They've kind of changed their policy recently. I also think a big part of this is just the sheer lack of content in the game. Like, you can have a very, very fun playthrough at the moment with what's in it. I was actually really blown away with how much content is actually in the game right now, but that actual longevity to actually feel a complete campaign just isn't quite there yet. And of course, there's going to be bugs and other issues as they continue to get feedback from the community. So I imagine a large portion of that is just to basically go ahead and not release a unfinished early access title and then receive tons of negative reviews, and that basically kills the game there and then. I think this process of getting tons of feedback now and then coming in onto Steam a little earlier next year with more content is going to be great. Speaking of content, the developers have also posted a roadmap of up and coming parts and content patches, which we're most likely going to see. So as of right now, we just have the US campaign of 1775 to 1776. That's currently what's playable. The campaign map stretches from the parts of Boston all the way down to New York, and then all the way up into Canada. We have Quebec you can go all the way up to, and there is a lot of territory to go ahead and cover in this current patch. You can also experiment as well with all the technology trees. Basically, most of the mechanics that I think that will need to be there in the game are actually already there. They just need kind of fine-tuning and improving upon the mechanics in general. So it's actually not like the game is missing features at this point. It's just kind of almost missing content to go ahead and go along with them features that need a little bit of improvement. So coming in the next big content patch, which I imagine we'll be getting early next year, is going to be the next year of the war, so 1776 and 1777, and that is going to still be just with the US. So the British still aren't going to be playable after the next big content patch. And I imagine in this year of the war is going to really expand up to the majority of the campaign map. I'll post a screenshot on your screen right now of the actual overall planned campaign map, and as you can see, it goes from Canada all the way down to Florida, so it's the entire East Coast. And I imagine in this second year of the war, it's really going to just explode up, and there's going to be so much more going on than in the first year. The first year is kind of just like building up, getting your armies ready, and then that second year is just going to be crazy. Much larger campaign map, much larger settlements to take control of. The entire naval regions open up. You're going to be having to manage way more settlements. You're going to have to be managing way more armies. Your general general placement is going to be way more important because that obviously relies on fog of war. And obviously the main meat of the game is really going to be played in that second year of the war. I wouldn't be surprised if you actually even got like different start dates as well to actually start in that second date if you don't want to go through all the beginning parts of the engagement. Then after that, we are going to be getting the third year of the US campaign and then the first year of the British campaign. So that is probably where I imagine the game coming to Steam in early access is probably when the Americans have 3 years of their campaign of the war, which I think is majority. The Revolutionary War I think lasted for 4 years if I'm not mistaken. Again, let me know down below in the comments, educate me please. With that, you basically have the majority of the American playthrough and also the first initial parts of the British campaign, which is obviously going to be very, very different to how the Americans play. You're going to have naval dominance, you're going to be able to ship men where and when you need them to, you're going to have the quality, at least at the beginning parts of the war as well, and you're going to have to be dealing with plenty of different other factors. I imagine a lot of like the actual international relations with the French and the Spanish and, you know, the Native Americans as well. That stuff's going to be much more important than, say, in the British campaign than the US campaign. But yeah, that would be my guess. Again, I have no idea, but that would be my personal guess of when the game is going to be coming to early access on that third start. Then after that, as I would guess the game will be finishing out its stint in early access over on Steam, we have the British campaign in 1776 to 1777. That's going to be a big update. Then after that update, we're going to be getting the 1777 and the 1778 campaign for the British. And then finally, we're going to be getting the last years of the war for both the British and the US campaign. So that's going to be the roadmap for Ultimate General American Revolution. Something as well I know a lot of people are very interested in is, will this game have multiplayer? And I have not seen anything on the Discord or anything on the forums that have kind of suggested that the game is planned to have multiplayer. Again, it'd be an amazing feature and something hopefully if the game does really well they can push towards and really focus on and actually kind of implement that in, because I think people would absolutely just die for something like that. I think if we're gonna get multiplayer, it's probably more likely to be multiplayer battles rather than a campaign, but you never know. Again, I guess it depends on how well the game is received and again how much the developers want to support it after the game does eventually finish all them campaigns. I think obviously personally though, it'd be a great addition. Being able to fight online battles would be great, but also an online campaign would just be absolutely incredible. And again, even if they just kind of focused in on maybe a small scenario for a multiplayer campaign and kind of did something a little bit separate that you could do rather than the grand campaigns, that'd be great for them building tech for their future games as well, save for like a Napoleon game if they plan on kind of continuing on this series. Developers have also been really active over here on their Discord as well. I recommend you join it if you want to go ahead and keep up to date with the overall feel of the game and obviously see kind of what's going. We've been getting plenty of updates. They've been talking about their dynamic weather, which has actually taken data from the official American site, so you actually get the exact same weather that's actually happening. And you can also see again the campaign map right here as well, and just the sheer scale of the settlements. You're currently fighting over like this part of the map where my mouse cursor is. So yeah, you're basically fighting over roughly probably like 15%, 10% of the overall campaign size. So there is a lot more left to come. You can also see the improvements they're currently working on and what they've currently achieved, which is cool. They've also mentioned again they've recently added in prisoner events as well, which is cool. I've actually got one of these events recently, which have been good. And then also as well, they're working on their custom battles, which you're going to be able to do, and you can actually play as the British again in that, which is cool again. But you can actually play as the British in these custom events and kind of mess around with their units and other stuff along them lines. The game has also received a ton of patches as well, just improving features, tweaking them, getting feedback on them. So again, it's great to see. Actually, sadly, one of the biggest, I guess not exploits, but biggest cheeses you could do has actually just been fixed as well. They've really been taking a look at how melee works and realizes that, yeah, maybe that's a little bit too arcadey, or you can just do that. So now they've changed it to kind of head and reduce the impact of mass charges and making the player actually more strategically think about it and have to attack the unit from multiple sides to get kind of the same effect. So instead of just running straight at them, you kind of have to hit them from the side and the back and all of that stuff to go ahead and get the same impact as previously. They've been changing the difficulties, improving, and just editing stuff along the line as well. So overall, I think a really, really exciting time for this game. I'm so excited to see future updates, especially the second year of the American campaign, really get that bad boy opening up. Something I personally would love to see going forward after putting, I would say I've probably put about 30 to 40 hours in the game so far, just over on their launcher, is I would love to see more variations in units as well, maybe having specifically different units, because as of right now, there are only, 4 unit types. You have militia, line infantry or fusiliers, artillery, cavalry, and there's also grenadiers. They're more like separate parts of regiments. They're just like individual companies that join them. And I guess you do also have stretchers and supply. But yeah, I would love to see kind of more diversity in that, maybe being able to like bring a unit to fame and get them into having the ability to like maybe get a special name for themselves and maybe get a special perk because of that. Like having units kind of exemplify themselves, or maybe just having officers like with a bigger upgrade tree or something along them lines to really show that like, oh yeah, this unit has fought in loads of battles and they're a bit better than all the other Fusiliers, and actually maybe having that marked in some way, I think would be really cool. It's really cool seeing the developers working hard over on the Discord and obviously on the game as well. We've already got loads and loads of improvements, so hopefully that does continue and continues well after the game goes to Steam, because again, the game has so much potential and I'm really excited to see the future of it. Let me know what you guys would like to see in the game, whether you've been watching my gameplay of it or you just kind of been playing it yourself. What are stuff you would love to see them improve upon? As I said, I would love to see, yeah, more like unit diversity, not necessarily in the type of units, but maybe them just being able to kind of improve and make a bit more of a name of themselves. Maybe even being able to like customize their uniforms would be really cool. I know you can do that in Grand Tactician. You can kind of change how your uniforms are just to give your units maybe a little bit more flair. So if you enjoyed this or you want to see more Ultimate General American Revolution, I'll go ahead and leave some playlists down below in the description where you can check out all my content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.